and happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I'm Maria Milagros. This is Wisdom Wednesday, a little space on the interweb that I like to carve out to share some tools and techniques and some nuggets. And this month I've been taking questions from some of the women who follow my newsletter. And today's question is, hey Maria, thanks for giving us the space to ask questions. I want to know how I can worry less about gaining the approval of others. Yummy. Okay, so it's interesting that the question is about the approval from others, but really, for me, this question is really about our love for ourselves, because our ability to love ourselves is directly correlated to our need to be approved by others. Let me say that again. Our ability to love ourselves is directly correlated to our need to gain or win the approval of others. When we fully love ourselves, when we are in a space of knowing who we are and what we're capable of, and we know what that story means, we recognize ourselves for all of our magic and for the things that we can't do, or that's not our strong suit, that's not our forte, that's not our jam, right? When we recognize all of those things about ourselves, we are less likely to try and gain the approval of others because we stand confidently in who we are. This question ties into the past 2 weeks when we talked about confidence and this kind of building up our own capacity to self-love. When we loathe ourselves, when we have that kind of heaviness about ourselves, we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for other people to approve of us because of our own disconnect from our own love, right? So rather than the focus being, how can I stop worrying about them approving of me? The real question is, how can I start loving me more? Because then they become obsolete. And not obsolete meaning that you never care what anybody says, or you don't want to check in with your best friend or your sister to say, hey, what you think about this, right? Like, not that, but more like not needing this kind of approval, this constant need for them to say, yes, you're good, or no, you're not. I know who I am, right? And it also goes back to the conversation we were having around recognizing that I make mistakes. And so I don't need you to approve of me all the time. And I'm also growing and evolving, which means you shouldn't approve of me all the time. And there are some things that if we have a healthy relationship and dynamic, that you can have that hard conversation with me, and I can use that to continue to grow. Now, that doesn't mean that everything that everybody says is constructive feedback, right? Sometimes they're just speaking from their own filters, their own biases, their own beliefs, and that's who they are. This is why, again, it's so important that we know and love ourselves, that we become more and more self-aware about who we are and what that means, because then I can filter all of the information coming in. And what I like to teach my clients is everything is feedback. Everything is feedback. So whether someone approves of me or disapproves, it's feedback. Do they disapprove because of some real critical thing that I can grow in, or do they disapprove because of their own stuff? Because that has nothing to do with me. Do they approve of me because it resonates with them, something that I said or did, or do they approve of me because it makes them feel more comfortable? Again, that might not have anything to do with me, right? So when we see it all as feedback versus good or bad, criticism or compliments, approval or disapproval, then we're in a better space to kind of take what we can to help continue to grow and evolve and release what isn't necessary and healthy for us. And again, we can only do that when we're practicing self-love and self-awareness. And in practicing self-love and self-awareness, we need their approval less because we have our own. Because we're connected to our own source, because we're connected to our own knowing of how magical we are, because we see ourselves as these amazing, magical humans who are deserving and worthy of respect and decency. And if they can't give it, that's okay. You're not my people then, right? And it takes practice. I always recommend starting at the beginning, doing gratitude work on a consistent and if not daily basis, and affirmations. Affirm yourself, affirm yourself, affirm yourself. Go super general, like I am a human deserving of respect. Everybody is. That feels like a really general statement, because sometimes saying statements that are too specific feel so disconnected from ourselves that then we're like, no, that's not me. I don't believe it. And if we don't believe it, why are we going to keep repeating it, right? So using affirmations that feel really general and that are filled with love and respect. And then as time evolves, we get more specific. Like, yes, I am a queen. Yes, I am a goddess. Yes, I am amazing. No, I do not need your approval. Yes, I do own a mirror. Yes, I know I'm cute, right? And it's not like I know I'm cute, I'm better than you. No, it's I know I'm cute and so are you. There are beautiful things about me and there are beautiful things about you. I'm intelligent and you're also intelligent. And our types of intelligence might be different, but we're all equally intelligent, right? We are not equally, but we all have our own levels of intelligence. We all have our own levels of beauty. We have our own levels of magic. Every single human does. So it's really more about loving and honoring this and practicing that versus worrying about that. Because that will exhaust you. That will spend you and put you right in the ground real quick. That's not your concern. This is. And then once we do this work, we create a standard for ourselves. And then everything becomes feedback, right? Your criticism, your compliments, it's all feedback. Thank you for the feedback. And that for me is way more important than focusing on whether or not they approve of me or how to not go for their approval. It's not about them. It's about us doing this work right here first and foremost. So I hope that answered your question. If you have any other questions for me, shoot them over. I love getting your questions. I have a couple more for the next couple of weeks, so this will be fun. And I will talk to you next week. You are a magical, incredible human being. Okay? You are deserving and worthy of love and respect, period. And you have to give it to yourself first and foremost, because if you don't, you will always be chasing the approval of others. And that's an exhausting way to live and not how we were designed to live. So I love you and there's nothing you could do about it. I'll see you next week. Peace.